birthday card one now. This is really, really simple. So, cut the card shape and fold in half. Oh, I better show you what you're actually making first, don't I? So, happy birthday on the front, and when it opens up, your piece of cake pops up with your candles on top. Okay? So, I'm going to do the mechanism for this. So, take your card, fold it in half. We are then going to open this back up, and we are going to cut the cake. So your cake cuts out like that. See if I can get a piece of paper behind it. There you go. So your piece of cake comes like that. And you're going to fold the vertical and horizontal score lines. So the vertical and the horizontal score lines as mounting folds. So that one, this one, this one, and this one. Okay, so you've got all four of your horizontal and vertical score lines from there folded as mountings, and your diagonal score line is going to fold as a valley. So it'll all fold up like that. Yeah, and then when you glue it together, you've got your slice of cake. I shouldn't have worn a black jumper today, should I? There you go. Right, so that's the first two steps, and then cut the icing, your icing, and fold the two diagonal score lines as mounting folds and the vertical score line as a valley. So mounting, mounting, mountain, and your middle one as a valley. And then you're going to glue that onto the top of there. So let's do that. So I'm going to put glue right down my score line, my central score line, and right into the creases of the cake, and then right along the edges at the top, and then fill in those triangles, and then also go along your little scalloped edges that come down the side. We're going to position this on top of here so that the outside score lines go down the side of the cake. The other outside score line goes down the other side of the cake, and your two central fold lines, so the fold line in the middle of your cake and the fold line in the middle of your icing, line up, and then close your card and make sure that that icing, see, it wants to move. So if we reposition that, let's do it flat. That's much easier, Melanie. I know. Sometimes I wonder how I do my job. Right, align the centre score lines, the icing in the cake, and glue the icing on top of the cake. Fold the edges of the icing over the sides of the cake and glue down. Jam strips or cream strips, whichever you prefer, or both. These are going to go onto the one on either side of your cake. So you're going to have one here, like that, and the other one on the other side. Like that. Okay, and try and get them so that when you close your card, so when you do this, it's a bit tricky because that glue's not dry. So that when you do this, those two strips line up in the middle, so it looks nice. Try and get that, okay. And then when you're happy with that alignment, you can just press them down, okay. Cut the candle and the candle mat, so that's your candle and your candle mat. Glue the candle mat on top of the candle. Funny that. So I'm going to fold these first and then open them back out again, and we're going to glue the candle mat on top of the candle. So put the score line in first, and I'm going to put glue on the tabs as well on both of them because it will just reinforce that tab at the bottom. Like that. Candle mat sticks on top of the candle. You can cut the extra tabs off if you want, but it depends on the weight of your card that you're using, I guess, really. So you can cut the tabs off the candle mat if you want. Don't cut it off both of them, otherwise you won't have anything to stick it down with. And then we're going to score, run our nail or our scraper in between the two like that, and again leave these to dry in between. Right, so got our jam strips, we've got our candles. Glue the candles to the top of the cake, making sure the centre score lines line up. Right, so your centre score line of your candle needs to line up. The tabs are going to go backwards, so they're going to fold back like that. And you've got two little guidelines here, two little lines, like a little cut line in your card. You're going to glue the V of the candle, turn it round there like that, onto those little lines, and make sure that your tab and your candles, one on either side of the score line. So just make sure you check, glue this down from the back, so that you can make sure that they're in the right place, okay? But this is all going to be dry before you do this. So we are going to stick those there, like that, and let that dry thoroughly, okay? It's really important. And then when it's all dry, you are then going to fold your score lines back in again, like this, and you are going to glue these two tabs at the bottom of your cake. There is a little V on the front of your card, like two little guidelines. You're going to glue that. Let me just bring in the one that I've finished. So you're going to glue that, lining it up with those two guidelines. Really difficult to do backwards and upside down this, but if you glue it like that, making sure that your score line isn't covered over like that, okay? So you'll then glue that in place, and once you've glued that in place and let it dry, you will then have that. And then when you fold your card, the centre of your icing, so you can always go back and just, the centre of your icing is going to dip down, so it's going to go into itself like that, and it's going to fold in, and the candles are all going to fold inside the card. And then when it pops open, you might need to just do that, but then the card, the actual cake itself, will stand up like a slice of cake. Is that cool? Now I think anybody, no matter what age you are, you're going to love a card like that, right?